everybody. This is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. And I'm here with another 5 questions with an indie creator segment. Before I get into that, just a quick reminder that Mighty Mascots, Indiegogo, is still going strong. I just posted this picture up on Twitter this week. Mondo is the glow-in-the-dark figure. He's part of the Breakfast Brawler line that I created for this campaign. And if you buy all 4 sets of the Breakfast Brawler figures, you get this figure absolutely free with your purchase. So a lot of good deals going on Indiegogo. Also, this is the Indiegogo page. Check that out. We're also doing the 10th anniversary issue of Mighty Mascots. And also a reminder that Plastic City Comic-Con is coming up August 23rd, 2025. And our guest list is starting to grow. So check that all out. All right. Now back to our 5 questions with an indie creator segment. I've been doing these for a little while. It's our way to give back to creators that are, because our live streams get so busy now that we don't have a chance to put everybody on the show that we would like. So we offer this video spotlight to any creators that can't come on the live stream. And a lot of people, sometimes people don't want to do the live stream either. Sometimes they'd rather just do this segment. And it's a good way to like spotlight a campaign or even just your books. And I heard from this episode's creator, Thomas Armstrong, reached out to me, I think over Instagram. And he was talking about crime comics that he's making. So I looked at everything, read some of it. It's all really cool. So let me show you. This is his website, Armstrong Biggs. You can go here. You can actually go and read the comics live on their website. And a lot of them have a strong focus on crime, which is really cool. I highly recommend the closing hour. That's the one I got to read. But if you click on it, you can actually read it. And I love this cover. It reminds me of an old crime noir movie poster or something like that. It's great. And the artwork is cool. It's got a cool, interesting style to it. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's just, go to the site. I'll put the link in the description of the video so you can check out Thomas's work here. But they're just trying to get awareness of their books that are out there, and you can pick them up on this website and you get your own copy or just read it, see if you like it and, help these guys out. So let me get rid of that. And so, yeah, Tom reached out to me and I looked at some of his books, which I got to admit are really cool. And I formulated 5 questions to ask him. And he got back to me with a video, and yeah, let's go through these. So this is going to be kind of fun with a crime focus kind. All right. So the first question I asked Thomas on this episode was, I noticed your comic, The Closing Hour, and most of your other work has a strong focus on noir and crime. What draws you to this genre?
Hey, Keith. Thank you so much for having me on. And that's a great question to get us going. I would say that one of the reasons that so many of us are drawn towards the crime genre is because at its bones, it kind of contains the DNA of what great stories are made of. It's conflict and it's suspense and interesting characters that are conflicted themselves, twisty plots, genuine surprises along the way. And you would find those things in other genres. You'd find that in a rom-com, you'd find that in a sci-fi, but I think within the crime genre, it's turned up to 11 and it's brought right to the front, which, yeah, definitely is what has had me hooked from a young age. I think I was probably about 10, where my mum and my stepdad took me to the Tyneside Cinema, which is an amazing cinema here in Newcastle that have always shown classic films alongside art house films and new movies as well. And they took me down there to see The Third Man, which is a black and white noir film from 1949. And I imagine, drag my feet a bit. I probably would have been more up for going to see something with explosions in space, but it didn't take long for me to just completely fall in love with it and be gripped by the mystery of that film, and also just fall in love with the look of the light and the dark and the shadow and the atmosphere and mood of noir storytelling in cinema. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Question number 2. Are any of your comics influenced by real crimes or events?
Well, some of them are, some of them aren't. We're working on a anthology at the moment of crime stories set here in the northeast of England. And I think what's more important to me is that the characters feel authentic and the social backdrops of the stories feel true to the region, and the times in which they're set, and really just don't demonize the working class here, but kind of celebrate and highlight the struggles that so many people have faced in this region, over many generations. In terms of the plots, there is stuff that's pulled from my life that's been kind of changed, but generally I'm a big believer in storytelling and art being a tool to kind of work things out, not necessarily find answers always, but to explore stuff. Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, he calls it airing your dirty laundry. And he says that everyone's nosy, they want to know your business, and it's the artist's job to find the right metaphor or story engine to kind of drive the very real things you're pulling from, whether they're memories or, conflicts or whatever the kind of emotionally charged thing you want to explore is, to find the right metaphor and to drive that through your story, and to be able to turn storytelling into a living, breathing thing, without necessarily having to have robbed a bank or committed murder to feel authentic. Yeah, so that's how I like to think about story.
All right. Number 3. Who are some of your biggest influences in both crime fiction or comics?
Right. Yeah, this is a tough one because there's just so much great work that I love from so many different genres. But keeping it in the crime wheelhouse, in terms of plots, it's got to be the Queen, Agatha Christie, who just is the master of the kind of tight clockwork plot that it's just a joy to be pulled along by and second guessing. This is a great book, actually. Recently read this one. Glass Onion from Rian Johnson definitely owes it a lot, about strangers taken away to a mysterious island and picked off one by one. So that was great. Also, shout out to Kenneth Branagh for pulling it back after Death on the Nile with A Haunting in Venice, which was actually really great. In this wheelhouse, G.K. Chesterton, I think, is a name that just doesn't come up enough. He's absolutely fantastic. These are short stories, also written in the 30s, about Father Brown, who is a detective priest. And yeah, each story is a different mystery. There's absolutely loads of them. And they're just so colourful, with just amazing, interesting characters. They get so much done in a short space of time. It's really impressive. So yeah, absolutely love them. Chesterton also wrote novels. This is one of my favourite books. This is a bit early. He wrote this in 1908, and it's just a wonderfully twisty, dark, funny kind of mystery, crime mystery, which is really worth reading. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, there's just so many, names that come up. John le Carre, Graham Greene, Cormac McCarthy, but I'm a massive Stephen King fan. I know he's more known for horror and supernatural stuff, but he's been doing these books on hard case crime, this publisher, Joyland and Later. They're not the only crime books he's done. Just read Billy Summers, that was fantastic. There are some other ones, but yeah, these two I really enjoyed. That's more of a ghost story. This one does have supernatural elements, but they're definitely more crime-centric and just so kind of gripping and thrilling. And as always with Stephen King, just brilliant character work, just amazing. Moving more into comics, this is kind of a hybrid actually. So Richard Stark's Parker books were I think he's writing them from the 60s through to the 90s, but I didn't really know about them until Darwin Cook came along and just turned them into these absolutely stunning two-tone comic book adaptations that are just a joy to read, and I just don't know how he fits so much story into each book. This is actually my friend Khalil's copy. I will give you it back, man. I promise. And yeah, while we're talking about comics and crime, you can't really skip over Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, which is also an anthology series, but each book follows a different character story within the same city, and they've just got these stunning covers. And soon it's going to be a Amazon series. I was lucky enough to meet Sean last year, and he was telling me about the filming of it. It sounds like it's going to be really well put together. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I could literally go on all day, Keith, but I'll give you one more book, which I think is an underrated masterpiece, which is Bog Bodies by Declan Shalvey, which is, yeah, a kind of Irish organised crime ghost story set outside of Dublin. And I think he signed this one for me. Yeah. And it's just a really stunning piece of work, one shot story. Everyone talks kind of phonetically in the dialect of the area, which I love, and it's something that we do in the stories we're working on in the northeast of England. So yeah, really worth picking up a copy of that. And I'm going to stop waffling now about books because I could do it all day. And hand back to you.
Number 4. Do you work closely with your artists to ensure the visuals match the themes in your crime stories?
Oh yeah, massively. I mean, John and I, that's John Biggs, my brother in comics, who's the brilliant artist I work with to make these stories. We're collaborating from the get-go, you know, from the concept through to the kind of broad strokes of the stories. I'll lock myself away and work on the script, and then there'll be notes back and forth on that, and I'll be constantly sticking my oar in on the art as the pages are coming in. Yeah, all the way from concept through to the book design, where we're collaborating really. I mean, on the closing hour, this latest one, the script wasn't even really broken down into panels and pages and scene descriptions. I wrote a short story, which had, you know, it had the story was in there, it had characters and dialogue and the events, but I handed over that to John, and he did such a beautiful job of breaking that down into the sequence of the art that you see. Then that comes back to me, and I do my final pass of the script over it while I do the lettering, and then we're kicking the art back and forth. And yeah, so really collaborative, and feel really lucky that I get to work that way with such a brilliant artist.
All right, number 5. What do you think makes crime noir stories particularly suited to the comic book medium?
It's a great question. I mean, comics they're really interesting medium, aren't they? I mean, they're kind of somewhere between a book and a film in terms of what the reader is given to work with, and what their imagination is fed with. I think noir comics, there's something quite magic when the right words are paired with the right image in comics. They become greater than the sum of their parts. And obviously in noir, a kind of famous part of it is often these gritty monologues that run over the top. So yeah, when there's narration in noir comics and that's paired beautifully with a sequence of images, I think that's fantastic. Comics can be really great for building atmosphere and mood and playing with time. Yeah, there's loads of different applications, I think, of the comics medium that really lend themselves to the genre.
All right. And then I always throw in a fun question at the end. And the fun question is, what is your favorite crime movie, television show, or comic series? And answer to all 3 would be fantastic. So we'll see if he does that. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, it's tough. I'm just going to move quick because otherwise I'll get tangled in knots of indecision. So, favorite crime TV show, let's say Twin Peaks. I know it's not straight crime, but it is, God, is it a gift, and it is a murder mystery, so locking that in. Favorite crime comic series, let's say Parker from Darwin Cook and Richard Stark. It's just such wonderful, elegant, and gritty crime comic storytelling. Absolutely love it. And favourite crime film, I'm going to give you three because one is impossible and three is hard enough. So let's say In Bruges, because it's tragic and it's funny and it's entertaining and it's human all at once. Let's say Fargo, because it's a perfect film. And let's say Thelma and Louise, because it's Thelma and Louise.
All right. And finally, Tom, give us a quick 2-sentence elevator pitch for closing hour. Go.
Well, here's the closing hour, and here is what it's about. Fred Turner is a quiet man trying to live a quiet life, running an old family deli in Newcastle's historic Grangertown. But as shadows lengthen on a windy autumn night, and a stranger steps into Fred's quiet world, claiming to know him from days long past, all that Fred Turner holds dear and true will be stretched to breaking point. Time is a tireless hunter, and the hour is closing in. Thank you. And thank you so much, Keith, for having me, and everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Tom did a great job. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you here, and good luck with all your comics. Everybody that watched the video, I please invite you to go to the description of the video and click on the link for Thomas's website. Like I said, you can read some of the comics there for free, but maybe throw them a couple bones and buy a couple copies and have them shipped to you. I'm more of a physical guy, so I like physical copies versus digital. But I like that the digital is there, so you can get a little taste on what it was. But if you liked what I showed you earlier, great artwork, everything looked good about it. Lettering, story was good. So check it out. All right, everybody. That's it for this episode of 5 Questions with an Indie Creator. If any creators out there want to get one of these segments made for themselves, please reach out and share some work with me so I can formulate some questions for you. And join us every other Monday night for our live stream Indie Comics Relay. We always interview indie creators and just have a good time with me and Harry and Johnny. And for the next 3 Mondays, we'll be live, so check that out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great week. And most importantly, read some comics. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.